Hello, this is Writer Fiction here, and today I was thinking on uh, writing a script. I actually written scripts before. I've written a couple horror movie scripts. One is called Terasi Soda, which is basically the premise of it is that there is 12 individuals see these 12 creatures doing a series of bizarre and brutal murders. And is it related to them? Kind of is it related to the creatures, that kind of thing. Like what's going on. I also wrote a horror story called Nitro Rivals. Um, basically, based on this group of this guy is the last survivor. A group of people who summon this demon thing. And how do they survive it? That kind of thing. But I have a little twist ending to it, and then I have the story called Redemption, which asks the question of what would happen if you could redeem the slasher, basically. So I did those kind of scripts. I wrote a couple scripts which you can actually find on what's it called? Script Revolution. The first one was called I think it was called Grasp or something like that. It's under my name. It's based on the fairy tale of the girl without hands, but I changed a little bit of it, so there's no dismemberment because the actual original story. This guy makes a deal with the devil, and the devil goes, "Hey, look, I can give you money coming up from the skies, but you need to give me the first thing that's behind the tree." Now the devil, because he knows that behind the tree, waiting for him is his daughter, right? And the guy's like, yeah, like, what do I have that's so valuable than gold and money, huh? His daughter's like, oh shit, fuck, And so uh. So Dev's going to take his daughter away, but then he finds that this daughter's too pure. He's like, you know what? I'm going to wait for you to get a little bit older, become a little less pure. But she stays pure, and he gets mad. He demands her hands. And so that cuts off her hands, and it's a whole thing. But I figured if I had to modify it, because I was reading about it, I'm like, Disney princess stories that would never ever, put different stories you would never ever see, right? And that was one of those, like, well, how could I do that, So I changed it instead of, because it's on there, you can read it, if you want to. It's actually changed it to being like he manipulates like who the next person to be the next one to be born on his farm will be born without basically the forearm extremities, basically the hands. And you don't think anything else. He goes, yeah, sure. You don't think that because he knows he has a cow that's pregnant and a goat that's pregnant, thinking, yeah, just my she-goat or my cow. They can have a baby and that's it, Well, who cares, Well, who cares? Sorry, I better joke it out. But anyway, so, well, in it, he goes to tell his wife that the good news, like, how did I get good news? She's like, wait, let me tell you the good news first. And he's like, okay, fine, you can't have my good news. Because you think money's going to fall from the sky and that's the best news ever. She tells him that she's pregnant. And then there's look of shock in his face and he sees it raining down the sky because, because people like this, well, it's not really the devil, it's like this hooded stranger kind of thing, which was they standing for the devil, because, it was kind of how do the devil thing and like Disney film, Well, I guess you could do that, but, nah, it's like, 7. And he's trying to prevent it, but then his daughter is born without hands, of course, because his daughter ultimately, all the stuff that he wants to happen doesn't happen, because forcing it to happen doesn't happen, and then he's forced to know in shock and horror that his daughter, who is born without hands, will be born without hands. Now, I know in the original story there's a part where she's walking by and she sees like a peach or orange from like a tree, and an angel comes down and gives it to her. I figured, no, I'm going to make it be where she actually gets it herself, She's capable, but she doesn't show that she doesn't have any hands at all, that kind of thing. So I have that script written out. Another one I did was called the Princess Test. It's all based upon the story of the princess and the pea. Now I know I could have called it the pea test, but I decided for obvious reasons not to do that. Now everyone's like, well, how do you take such a basic small story and make it into a movie? Well, I thought about it. Okay, what if the princess who's supposed to be as a test of the pea, what if she's not a princess at all? What if she's the villain? She's a villainess who hides herself as a princess so that she can do what she's done all these other times, and that is basically pretend to be a princess or a queen, marries the current king or prince, and then she takes over and she banishes or imprisons the king or prince until the people will get mad. They try on the castle trying to get her, and then she escapes. She always does this because it's kind of a fun little game for her, However, this time though, when she's going to be a princess for this test, she's talking to the prince like kind of casually, and then all of a sudden, hey, no. So I got 1 second. Sorry about that. My cat was going to knock something down, and it was basically a cup of soda. Still pretty much full yet. I didn't want that to spill over. But anyway, so speaking of spilling, I think it had to be where the guys would give her a glass of wine and it spills on her dress that she made herself. And he gives her his jacket and says that he'll personally get her dress to be washed and cleaned for her, showing that he's kind of selfless to him, and it basically makes her change her ways. And what I do is that I have this idea of her having like how villainesses used to have certain key features, like the nose would be a little bit crooked, the nails would be the fingers and the nails would be a little bit longer, The hair isn't really straight; it's not curly or something. But kind of show I don't know, maybe do a visual kind of a transformation thing, where she goes from being a villainess, and you can kind of see her being kind of evil in the lighting too. But then slowly but surely she becomes good. She actually wants to do that. Now I know I should have waited on both the scripts before sending them because they're the rough drafts. But I wanted to get them out there so that something that's a company, a big company like Disney would see it. Or even DreamWorks, or maybe Pixar, which is owned by Disney, so somebody look and go, hey, this is actually good. These are actually good scripts, we just have to polish them off and finish them up a little bit, and bam, we got a good story, So yeah, I have been working on the script. I also wrote a script, but I'm gonna kind of rewrite it. I might just edit out some of the scenes. It's about a kid who basically goes with what I have. At first, I was going to have it be the character's gonna either shrink himself or shrinks this entire town or school. But then I thought, I always have shrinking stories, and I was my favorite stories are regression and shrinking stories. I have a whole bunch of them that I've been working on, And I was I really don't want to do that, Then I was do I want to do that, So I did a poll, and one of the first things response I got one response one way, that was the other way. But I decided to basically flip a coin and do it the other way. And that is, make him turn invisible. And the whole plot is him, being, it's out of, an impulse thing, and I want to feel impulsive. Even though I weigh it down, I want to be like he's impulsively saying this thing because everything he does is either based on impulse or is based on how he reacts to other people's reaction to him doing something on impulse, because I have ADHD, which I think I said before I have. Yeah, I'm pretty sure I said it in one of the earlier videos. So anyways, I have that, right? But now what I want to do is I want to make a totally new script. It might not be all right away. I'm going to end this as soon as my alarm goes off in like 9:40. So I think it started at 8:40 about, so it'll be like an hour or so. So yeah, I'm going to come up with a script and kind of come up with a plot. I also have other stories too I've been working on as well. You know what? I do know one story I want to do. Oh, I'm also working on other stories too. Like I'm working on a well, there's a lot of stories I'm working on, So what I'm gonna do is there's a story I read it before. It's called "The Naughty Boy." That's the title of the original book, or the original short story, I should say. Written by the same guy who wrote The Little Mermaid, which was adapted into a movie in 1983 by Disney. Probably other ones too. But 1985? Hold on. Hey Google, when was The Little Mermaid movie released?
In the United States of America, The Little Mermaid came out on November 17th, 1989.
So it was 1989. Wow. I was off by just a few years. Anyways, only 4 years, So not too bad, Anyways, man, did that, and then goes out and had the remake. I never saw the remake before. Maybe because, I can watch the original, and that's, I like my animated movies, Louis. Especially if there's, but I wouldn't mind, honestly, doing something with Ursula, how cool would it be if instead what if Ursula, ooh, my cat jumped in the monitor and then jumped off. What if, I don't know, what if Ursula and a bunch of other Disney villains upon dying got a second chance at redemption due to being reborn or something. I think that would be kind of a cool little thing, they're all gathered around. They're the ones that I think could get redemption, Ursula, Scar, maybe Maleficent, something like that, and then be look, Gaston, Clayton, any of those two. Definitely not Frodo. No, Frollo. Definitely not him, because he just, honestly, you don't think you can redeem that guy. He's just, no, Maybe Jafar, kind of thing, and have a redemption kind of arc. That would be kind of cool, Have them be reborn and have them be a redemption arc. So, anyways, man, it's written by the same guy who did Little Mermaid and also did the original, The Ice Queen, which was then adapted into Frozen and had a sequel, Frozen 2, right? Of course, I'm talking about Hans Christian Andersen. Well, in his story called The Naughty Boy, it's weird. Basically, this guy. So yeah, this guy, he's at home in the cottage in the middle of the woods, and he hears a knock on the door. And he's like, yeah, don't answer it. And he's like, yeah, hello. And he looks down and sees this little boy, naked as the day he was born, basically shivering and holding a bowl. And he's like, oh, come on in, sit next to the fire, have an apple, you know, like you do. I mean, okay, I know it was like Putin way back in the day. It was like really weird, you know. Anyways, in it though, he's revealed to be Cupid. That's why he's naked for it. Because unlike in our modern interpretations where the baby New Year and Cupid are both basically diapered little babies, they're most of the time they're not. Like the original concept of the baby New Year was basically just like between March 1st and April 1st, they would parade around a baby, depending on which time they want to do it. For you, the first day of spring, they parade around a baby and be like, "Hey, look, this is the new year, and this is the new year, woohoo! You know, woohoo, woohoo! The sign in the new call it midnight. No, sorry, my cat knocked down another cup now. You know, like this is the new year, woohoo! You know." And then of course, over time, Christians kind of took over Europe, and they're like, "Hey, look, we can't have naked babies be representing New Year's, unless the naked baby is Jesus." So then it was basically Jesus. I know, like Julius Caesar, Julius Caesar. I can't believe I spelled it incorrectly. I cannot believe I said it like that. Sorry. Julius Caesar. Well, waited 465 days or 456 days, what it was, to make January 1st, 46 BC or 80, I can't remember which one it was, to be the official New Year. And actually, that's why April 1st is April Fool's Day. Because when people say, no, April 1st is still the New Year's, you know, he was like, even March 1st people would believe that was the New Year started in spring. He was like, you guys are all fools because January 1st now. Okay. You know? Anyway, so, well, what was it again? Oh yeah, well then of course there was the Christianization of Europe, which then said that the baby in the basket would now have to be the baby Jesus. Which then cut to 1400 in Germany, and a couple of dudes, they decided to make their own version of the baby New Year, along with a top hat, a diaper, and a little sash that said 1400 on it. And that's was basically the start of basically the secular version of the baby New Year, right? So for the longest time before that though, the baby New Year and also Cupid was seen as being naked little babies, right? And or a naked child or young man, depending on what version of Cupid you're looking at, right? Because Cupid can take many different forms, I guess. I think it's going to show how love can take many different forms, you know. But anyway, so Cupid though, he fires at the man. The man falls in love, and he's like, "Damn that Cupid! Oh, that naughty boy! Ooh!" But like, what if you do something with that, right? Like, what if the story is about a guy who maybe he wants something. Let's see, what could he want? Maybe he has a girl that he likes. He believes that he is entitled to her, right? He's 100% that she should date him. That if she could not see that she's just crazy and oh my god, who could ever date her? Like, I'm dating her. Like I'm willing to date her because I deserve her or something. You know, that kind of that logic, that mindset. So we give him like a faulty, really bad mindset. And maybe he sees that she's actually, well, she does know him. She goes, oh, okay, that's like, hey, how you doing? You know, that's nice. Yeah, that's cool. You know, hope you're good luck and love. You know, so like she doesn't have any ill will towards her. Oh, he doesn't. She does have ill will towards him, but he feels like that he's the only one that can actually truly love her, kind of scenario. So he wants her to see him, but maybe she's this other guy, this nice, handsome hunk of a guy or whatever, or maybe not. Maybe the guy isn't. The guy, I don't think the guy should be like maybe he's a little nerdy, right? Maybe it's the glasses. Maybe it's a little bit on the heavier side, you know. So this rival guy, he especially cannot stand, right? And maybe there's a thing called Project Cupid, which is meant to basically, it's like a extremely use formula that can allow you to basically maybe become like younger so that you can add someone else, explain your love for someone else or something like that, you know. Oh, maybe you even try to propose to her while she's on a date, and he's like, hey, you know, ditch that loser. Get with the bruiser. Or so, I don't know. And she's like, no, I don't want to. No. So first things first, I'm going to set the title up right here, which is going to be, let me make sure that it's the right thing, which is called Curio New. That's the, that's a typewriter thing for all scripts of what's in Curio New, you know. I'm going to do real quick. It says select the icon and press Alt plus I to draft with Copilot. I am not doing that at all. If you're like, oh, maybe use Copilot to write the script. Nope. I don't really believe in using AI to write script because I want to be able to fail on my own terms. And I want to succeed on my own efforts, right? I don't want it to be where, like, I could easily go, Copilot, do this thing, and then I'd be like, okay, this script is all done. I don't want to do that. You know, I want to have time to talk about it and to do it. So now, because I have the idea for the project name, sorry, I was sure that was on. What does Cupid mean in Project Cupid? I will come to it when I get to it. But now I'm going like this. Go back to automatic. Go to 24. I'll put down order of John. Alright. There we go. Now I gotta figure out how should it start, right? Let's see. Oh, but change this under the font to 12. That's what we need to be at 12. Now right here, this is still at page 1. Probably won't say that because, you know, it's page 1. We'll get page 2 or 3. I'll probably say that, you know. Let's see. Actually, I need to come up with a name for the character, right? I mean, it can't just be Cupid. You know, because that's the other thing, right? So I'm going to go to my favorite website to go to is babynames.com. gonna go to search babies. And then I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna go to you can't see it right now, so let's say meaning is gonna be love. And I'm like male oh national, let's see what they have. This might take a little while. Oh, maybe not. Sometimes it takes a little while, sometimes it doesn't, depending on my computer's mood, you know? Let's see. They do have a Cupid, but that'd be too on the nose, you know? There's Erastes, which means beloved. Maybe that could be his, should it be his first name or his last name? I'm gonna put it down Erastes, but if you say that it should be a last name, then I will put down his, that is his last name. Like, I love that name, so I'm gonna keep it, but I don't know if it be first or last name, you know, so, yeah, there's that. So yeah, so I'm gonna have it be name be Erastes for right now. Bueno. Interior. Put down lab. I like to name my scenes. Working on a formula. Day. Alright, so right now we know that it's in daytime, right? This is all happening in the daytime. Now this is not going to have Erastes just yet. But it will have this other guy, who actually should look up the name now too now. Sorry about that. 1 second. Let's see now. I want to say, Dr. Mallows. Oh, now. Hold on. A 36. Why does it look like it's that one for? Okay, hold on. Okay, 36-year-old man in a trench coat is alright, let's see, he's looking at some vials. A purple liquid looms in one. He takes it and swirls it around. Alright, now I'm going to do some talking right now. Usually when you do talking, for the character supposed to be talking, it's 3 tabs in or 24 spaces in. And there's 2 tabs, what they're saying is 2 tabs in or 16 spaces in. Just so you know, so if you're like, hey Wider, how do I do this again? 2 tabs in for what they're saying, and 3 tabs in for who's saying it. And you put on who's saying it ahead so that people know, okay, this is who's supposed to be talking, right? So right now I have Dr. Mallows, 36-year-old man. I'll put down. Let's see. I wonder if this will connect to my goals. I just realized now. There we go. He then drops it on an old table clock. But it melts through and turns to dust. Dr. Mells then says, time for human testing. He then stops and puts it on his lab table. Dr. Mellows then says no self-respecting scientist ever. Alright, so now I'm gonna do this real quick. Boop. Yep. We could be scientisty, but no. Put down, he then goes to his door, to walk outside. Carrying papers with Project Cupid on them. I know you're taking that's what to do, but I'm gonna do it though because it's a rough draft anyways. And yes, you guys will see the rough draft, and you guys see how the original version would look like. But you also get to decide if you like it or not, too. You know. Now I'm gonna do is go here to exterior. I'm gonna put down fancy outdoor restaurant. That was outside and it's in a restaurant. Put down Erastes tries to confess his love to I was about to end, so I'm gonna probably end it right here. My alarm's gonna go off, I mean. And I don't know, maybe you guys tell the name, maybe I should look for a name. I need a name for the girl that he's pining over and the guy that he sees as a rival, even though she just sees him as a friend, right? And the other guy is nice too. I don't know the other guy like, I'm a jerky character, so you get to have the, you know, I don't want that to be the case because two jerky characters over the same girl. I don't want that to be. I want one character to kind of like be like, hey, I'm in the wrong here. I learned this life lesson kind of thing. You know, it's the main character. And that's my alarm. Alright. And I want it to be where like the guy, he's nice, but he's not a quote unquote nice guy. If you don't know what that means, I'm really hearing about it before. A lot of times, a lot of stories have what's called nice guy syndrome. It's when a person is like really nice and they're really sweet. Then you find out that wait a second, the entire time they want something of the main character, right? Like they're not doing it just to be nice, like nice guys, nice girls, you know, it's like they're not doing it out of the kindness of their own hearts. They're doing it because they're getting a reward, right? So I don't want that guy to be like that kind of trope, you know, because I don't want him to fall in that trap, you know. The main character being kind of feeling entitled and being chauvinistic, I figured it's better this way so that when his whole world comes crashing down around him, it helps to basically have him be built back up, you know? Alright, anyway, so that was, the first part of my script. I might try to do this every, what is today? Maybe every Saturday if I can. If not, I'll try to do it the day after or maybe the day before or 2 days before, 2 days after. I don't know, it will be full on schedule because I can't really do a schedule, you know. A lot of times I want to do a schedule, but then I find out that stuff happens and I'm like, okay, I do that stuff, you know. Alright, Anyways, remember to like, comment, and subscribe. Remember to check out my Patreon if you like to. And thank you, and goodbye.